Number 1, Take-Two takes action, Grand Theft Auto 4 DLC, The Lost and Damned. Oh man, the biggest disappointment for me this year was Take-Two's reaction to my gameplay playthrough of the Grand Theft Auto 4 DLC, The Lost and Damned. For those that don't know, The Lost and Damned was announced much earlier this year, was released within the first few months of 2009, and it was better than just a standard expansion because it's basically added gameplay, added a full new campaign, all kinds of new elements, and characters that intertwine with the original story of Niko Bellic from the original Grand Theft Auto 4. Now, I in particular was very excited when this was announced because Grand Theft Auto 4 was actually my official pick for the best game of 2008. However, Take-Two took it upon themselves to actually put a cease and desist order against YouTube, stating that they were not allowed to put up any of my gameplay footage, in particular because I had the cutscenes of the game in my footage. Therefore, a copyright strike was placed against my account, which basically put my account in bad standing with YouTube, and I was forced to remove all of the gameplay footage of this DLC. For anyone who's asked me why I haven't played the Ballad of Gay Tony, that's also the reason, because if I put it up, I have a very strong chance of getting yet another YouTube strike against me, and they can either suspend my account or terminate it altogether. Now, I'm going to very, very quickly explain to you the real deal when it comes to gameplay footage on the internet. There has not been one legal court case, and there has not been one legal ruling stating that anyone cannot put gameplay footage on the internet, period. That's the truth. There's no law against it. It doesn't exist. People view it as a gray area, per se, because some say it's blatant copyright infringement and others say it has nothing to do with copyright infringement. There's a huge disagreement in the legal community about this argument. Now, here's my perspective, okay? If I were to go to New York City on vacation, and I were to go to the Empire State Building, and I were to pay an admission fee to get in, and I went to the top of the building and took video, and then I put that video on the internet, that video is my legal property. It's my experience at the Empire State Building. There's no way that the Empire State Building could possibly own that footage because although they provided the means and the location, they did not actually provide my experience. My experience becomes my own and my own legal property. The same goes for video games. And the reason that this has become such an issue is because video games are a completely different medium than movies and motion pictures. A movie and a motion picture is the same thing no matter what. The same actors, the same setting, the same music, the same effects. It never changes. And there's no interaction between the person watching the movie and the movie itself. Sure, your experience of you sitting in the theater and laughing is an experience, and that actually could be considered your legal property. However, the movie itself is owned by whoever the company is that made the movie. And the same goes for video games. Sure, I paid a certain amount of money to play the Grand Theft Auto 4 DLC, and therefore I don't have the legal right to copy the game, to sell the game, to give the game to anyone else. However, my experience of my enjoyment of the game is my legal property. And until there's a law that says that it's not, I stand by that statement. And God forbid that there ever is a law that says that it's not, because then they could basically say that anything that you ever pay for in your entire life is not your property. Even your experience with whatever you're using is not your property. That's insane. That means that nothing that you ever do in your entire life is your own. It all just basically stems from whoever created the means for that experience to happen, and it's their legal property. That's bullshit. And I'm sorry, but my gameplay footage, for the most part, promotes the games that I'm playing. I mean, people come up to me all the time, people that I don't know, and say, "Hey Phil, I didn't even know about Street Fighter, I wasn't into Street Fighter till I watched your videos online." And sure, you were joking around and talking shit and sometimes complaining about the game, but overall it let me see that the game was enjoyable, and I went out and I bought the game. And it's not just Street Fighter, but there's a lot of games where people come up and tell me that. So for a company like Take-Two to put a copyright infringement claim against me, basically saying that I either stole stole, reproduced, or are giving away their legal property, that's an insult to me. And I would love to talk to any representative from Take-Two Games and have a conversation with them about how they should treat their fucking gamers who pay their well-earned money to play their games and try to share it with the world. It's disrespectful, it's not acceptable, and if I were any more, a bigger person who could take this to court and had that kind of money, I absolutely would, because I cannot wait for the day when a legal precedent is set and gamers worldwide can actually not have to be terrified and afraid that they're going to have some lawyer knocking on their door because they recorded their gameplay. Unfucking real. So to conclude the whole situation with Take-Two, I will no longer in the future be playing any game that's developed by Take-Two or Rockstar Entertainment, and they will not find any gameplay footage of it on my channel or otherwise. In fact, I will not even recommend that these games be purchased by anyone in the future. And the only reason I say that is not because of the quality of the games, but because any company who basically disrespects you and tries to take away your gameplay experience and state that it's their legal property obviously does not care about the gamer. Therefore, fuck them, stay away from their games like the plague, let them get shut down for the next hot coffee mod that gets discovered in a Grand Theft Auto game, and they can go to hell. Whew, so finally getting all that off my chest makes me feel a lot better. I mean, overall, 2009 wasn't too bad of a year. We had a lot of great games and great gaming moments, but there's always the bad stuff that we need to get out of the way and get off the chest, and here's hoping that 2010 ends up being a better year. Overall, right now, it's stacking up to be a pretty good year with lots of major releases and DLCs. The key, I think, to making 2010 better than 2009 is going to basically be that these game publishers and developers learn from their mistakes. Don't screw up the same things twice, and as long as you listen to the feedback from gamers, they'll keep coming back for more. So this is DSP. This has been the top 10 worst gaming moments of 2009, and I'll see you next year.